Hello everybody. I selected the case study on the Station Nightclub fire in Rhode Island because of the strong presence of the entertainment industry in Florida and because of the fact that many of the venues in Tampa are older / historic buildings, for example in Ybor City and the Tampa Theater in downtown Tampa. In this case study, a new business is petitioning for an occupancy change for a 1930s restaurant to be renovated and turned into a nightclub that will be hosting music concerts with a substantially increased occupancy. The concern is that the renovation may not meet current building and fire codes, ADA requirements, as well as zoning codes and ordinances. The city manager needs to convince the mayor, city council, and the other officials of the importance of enforcing the current codes. An alternative may be to find a better venue that would not require additional renovation costs. As it turns out, the new business burned down during evening rock concert that included a pyrotechnics show. It was found that no sprinkler system had been installed as required for the occupancy. Additionally, the sound insulating foam was flammable, and as a result, 100 people died and over 200 were injured. The business had not been cited by fire inspectors for failing to install the sprinkler system. Existing nightclubs, as a result of this incident, should be re-inspected and, if not found to be compliant with codes, given a grace period to remedy the situation. If improvements are not made, fines should be given or the business closed down. There are several options on how to deal with the employees that failed to cite the nightclub prior to the fire. They could be written up, suspended with or without pay, or terminated. Prior to taking any disciplinary action, however, the city manager needs to find out whether the employees knew about the deficiencies, and if so, what action they took. By not enforcing the existing codes and ordinances, serious liability and life safety hazard were created. If a sprinkler system had been installed and non-flammable insulation been used, the loss of life could have been much lower. Codes were not followed by the nightclub owner, nor were they enforced by inspectors and code enforcement. There was a lack of city oversight and on the renovation project, as well as lack of departmental supervision to ensure follow-up in the case of the fire inspectors. The incident is the 4th deadliest in the United States. I found this to be an interesting case study because corners are cut every day in the name of the almighty dollar. I wish more focus had been on how this tragedy could have been avoided and what other factors were involved, such as overcrowding, insufficient number of exits, which were also not marked sufficiently, if at all. There will always be pressure by political figureheads to make things happen, as in move things along, even if they're not compliant. However, it is our duty to protect the public, and we must resist that pressure. One option that has been used in occupancies requiring sprinklers or other safety features, but that did not have them in place, or where they were out of service, is to put in place personnel to perform a fire watch. What I learned from this case study was that building characteristics such as non-fire retardant insulation and foam, lack of sprinklers, and sufficient well-marked exits created the perfect storm when combined with pyrotechnics and an occupancy load that exceeded the limit. Codes in place at the time of the fire would have greatly reduced the human toll, and new stricter codes were put in place soon after the fire. Sadly, this has not prevented tragedy caused by pyrotechnics and nightclubs to be prevented elsewhere in the world. Since then, 194 died in Buenos Aires, Argentina in 2004. 43 people died in Shenzhen, China in 2008. 66 died in Watana, Thailand in 2009. More than 150 people died in Perm, Russia in 2009. And more than 242 lost their lives in Santa Maria, Brazil in 2013. If you want to find out any more information on this particular fire related to this case study, I've attached some links below the podcast.